So we could do something here? Wait, what could we do here? Oh dear. Sure, we could do this. What do we do? Barging in suddenly won't work out. At this point, there might be nothing more we could do. In which case, is waiting for her secretary the only thing we could do? Surroundings. Huh? Oh, what is it? That person coming this way. What, that tall guy? You know him? Yeah, from a little while back. Mr. Yumioka, over here. Oh. You're Gamioto's manager, Mr. Yumioka, yes? Good to see you again. Miss Kotosuzu. Never stutter. What a coincidence running into you here. Gamioto, Yumioka. He's not looking at us with straight eyes. What is your deal? Like he's a little too nervous for just running into an acquaintance. You know him, Mio? Yeah, from a job a while back. Cool. What is your deal, sir? He's been trying to avoid eye contact with Mio since he first noticed it was her. Something's fishy. Yes, please, you're the... Finally made uncomfortable, this must mean something. How have things been since we last met? If she just stays with her training, she won't have to rely on cheating people anymore. Yes, she has been keeping at it. Cheating people? Miss Kotosuzu, I'm glad you're doing well. I assure you we've had no issues since you need concern yourself with. You gotta tell me what happened. A case from a while back, a family overseeing a reliquary came to us saying they're being investigated by someone who's suspicious. Investigated? A psychic named Suigen Gamioto suddenly showed up. She said she had a premonition that something terrible would happen and had to exorcise the temple immediately. Sounds like a cover for burglary. After they noticed the police, I was dispatched there by Paranormal Affairs. I inspected the place myself, but didn't see anything wrong, so I sent them away. He acted as Gamioto's manager during the case. That's pretty suspicious. Apparently, she was looking for something there, but I told her that's no excuse for fraud and sent her off with a scolding. But honestly, Gamioto didn't even have much spirit sense to speak of. It soured my mood on the whole thing. Right, so she is one of those types then. Well, she's involved in all kinds of stuff, so she may at least be knowledgeable about paranormal objects. If you have no further business with me, then I'll be on my... Oh, no, before you go. Gamioto seemed to know a lot about paranormal objects. It'd be a huge help if we could ask her about something. Then what might that be? Is she familiar with the ancient text called the Record of Fate's Yin Scroll? Or anything about the descendants of an Onmyoji named Seiman Tsuchimikado? I beg your pardon? Miss Kurosuzu, how do you... So you do know about it? I see. If that's what you're after, then that means... Hold it, don't tell me you're trying to snatch up some innocent schoolgirls this time. Stop right there. Huh? If it isn't Yumioka, it's a pleasure to see you again. What? Ayu Chozawa, what are you doing here? Huh? Chozawa? This investigator here helped me out. You really did a number on me. What do you know? It just so happens we have some business with Yakko ourselves. Why don't you join us? If you could do so that much for us, can you? You work for Yakko after all. Depending on how this conversation goes, I won't have to get the police involved. Huh? You work for Yakko? What's going on? The adults are talking now. There's really no way you could refuse though, is there? You two young ladies must be involved as well. Would you care to join us? Oh, sure. Quite the view, isn't it? Nope. How long could you play dumb with this many people lined up and wanting answers for you? You better just come in and come clean with everything you know. Duh. Oh, we're at the park. Oh, there were so many of us. Ah, okay, gathered here. All of the everyones. Oh. Alright, we're playing as Yakko right now. Everyone is here. Even the dead guy is... Actually, dead guy would be about hereabouts. Oh, we got a lot of people to talk to, a lot of things. One thing that was intriguing in the interim. Oh, 7 mysteries. I looked back at it. Was it beckoning light? Interesting means here of kills by means of the curse they possess. One who has become a curse bearer. So this one doesn't have conditions. Well, yeah, it doesn't have conditions. Thus, it feels like you could just kill whoever is a curse bearer, and it's easy to detect curse bearers just because, well, the curse would activate. Or at least it would give a prompt. So at least we know who's a curse bearer. And it just feels like we could kill them whenever. Seems a bit strong. Seems way too strong. But sure, that's what we're dealing with nowadays. Anyways, this guy, except we're talking to everyone else. She's Mayu Chozawa, the fiancée of Hajime Yoshimi, the police officer. I have to talk to her about Hitomi later. Oh, I didn't mean to, I want to see everyone. I'll cut to the chase then. Are you the ones who killed Hajime Yoshimi? No, we did not. Don't try and play dumb now, if not you, then who? That much, I don't know. While it is true that we were after the information he possessed, he was killed by someone else before we could acquire it. Which forced us to target you instead, Miss Chozawa. That's why you forced me to talk, and why I ended up with this curse, huh? Indeed, though I never thought you would escape. Well, took a couple of miracles, but yeah, I got out. And just what information did Hajime have that you wanted? Nah. You really think you could get away without answering now? But... Ooh, like her already. Let's see, who else have we... Okay, yeah, Ritukai. We were introduced briefly earlier, but this flashy-looking guy is a private investigator. I thought they were only like that in TV shows, but I guess they're pretty intense in real life too. But Mio is amazing too, keeping her cool at a distance like this. She must be used to dealing with adults by now. She was only introduced as the investigator's client. She's cool. Feels like we wouldn't stand a chance against a full-grown woman like her. Anything more about anyone? Client's done, Mio's done, Richter's done, Maya's done. He's clearly shaken by all this. Feels like he's desperately racking his brain for a way to get out of this. It's almost hard to watch. Ooh wee. And now let the grilling... Anything else? No birds? Great birds in the sky. No, no birds. No birds. Oh, think, I guess. Wow, seeing a bunch of adults around each other like this is pretty wild. Let's keep on grilling them, I guess. Fine, I'll let someone else ask you something for now. Do I have anything? Nope, he's just sweating. Mio, do you have something? Excuse me, I had no idea that Kamioto was connected with Hihaku. So, I'd just like to ask. Wasn't Miss Yamamori from Hihaku who obtained the Record of Fates and passed it down to Araishi? No, that was not the case. Oh, my mistake. Was it Suiden Gamioto's doing then? No, it was not. We first learned of the Record of Fates from Mr. Araishi. It was then that Miss Yamamori gained an interest and extended a contract to compensate him in return for his research and findings. Then who was it that activated the Feast of Shadows to call forth the Curse of the Seven Mysteries? I'll give you my word that we had no part in that. We had learned from Araishi beforehand that something would happen at midnight last night, that is all. Hey, there's no way that's true, stop lying. I must ask you to please refrain from violence. Hold on, Yakko, it's alright. The minute I learned Kamioto was none other than the Queen of Hihaku herself, I felt that was the case. She doesn't have strong enough spirit sense for it. Oh, gotcha. Oh, well, it is somewhat shameful. If you require proof, then so be it. What? All that talk of supernatural powers was just hot air? I don't think she has zero spirit sense, but even Yakko here has more than her. I do. Also, the spirit power lingering in this park has been bothering me for quite some time. The person who died here must have had considerably powerful spirit sense. Wow, really? Don't pull the we were the mastermind all along. Well, why can't I remember his name now? Okay. If they were a Hihaku employee, then maybe they should have been the one running things. My, to think Shogo Okie was so talented. At any rate, Hihaku wasn't the mastermind behind exposing the Record of Fates to the world and initiating the Feast of Shadows. I think we could be sure about that. Alright. Any more to grill? And you know about the Record of Fates Scene Scroll too, don't you? If you were researching the Rite of Resurrection in the Record of Fates, then you must have looked into the Yin Scroll as well. That's right. The Record of Fates alone wasn't enough to learn how to collect soul dregs. I'm sure you looked into many things on your own, but how much do you actually know? Who and where Seiman Tsuchimikado's descendants are? Were you able to find that sort of information with Gamiota's connections? I can't reveal that. Then would you prefer I expose the public how Gamiota is a fraud with almost zero spirit sense? Fine, I understand. From the results of our independent research, I found that Seiman Tsuchimikado's descendant was Hajime Yoshimi. What? So that's why you went after Hajime? However, Hajime Yoshimi was only carrying a fragment of the whole. A fragment? That's right, he did say something about a fragment of an odd manuscript. The location of the Yin Scroll was hidden. This information was split into two and hidden into a pair of talismans, which were then passed down from generation to generation. Ah, talismans. I see. Hajime Yoshimi was supposed to have one, but it was almost certainly stolen when he was killed. It's possible that he knew the location of the other as well. So that's why he questioned me about the things he inherited. Ah, I see. She's the one who has it. Okay. So, whoever robbed... Ayami... Was it Ayami Tono? Tono took the talisman from both of them. Although... Was that coincidence that... Namigaki ran her over? That feels odd. That's the only odd piece of the puzzle. Namigaki just... I mean, it could have been for... How would that set of coincidences just line up like that? Of course, it could have just happened, but... Anyways. The girl Hajime had been helping recently must have had it then. Oh, Michio's talisman. Yes, Michio Shiraishi was likely a descendant of the same Tsuchi Mikado. The what? The talisman she carried as a keepsake from her father. We searched it based on Miss Chozawa's memories. However, Michio Shiraishi was already dead. Yeah. Yes, by coincidence, she happened to be closely connected to Mr. Iwai, so we could begin our investigation there. But he was already dead too, leaving you in a quandary. I see. Mio, if we could get both of the talismans. Yep, we know the location and the records of Fate's Yin Scroll. Wow, sometimes the answers are right under your nose. Sometimes those answers are hardest to find. Any more? Yakko, let's keep quiet about the location of the talismans for now, okay? Ah, right. No need for Yumioka to know. That was a close one. I almost let it slip. Richter, I assume, is gonna have the most questions. Did we check our surroundings? No surrounding check? No surrounding check. Okay, I feel like you had the least to contribute, so... Here we go, Hadaway. Excuse me, are you new to all this too? I guess I'm just kinda tagging along. Me too. Let's make sure not to get in the way, shall we? Right. Okay. Okay, Richter, start grilling. Now then, I've come to hand over the Haunting Clapper's curse stone like I promised. The curse stone? Thank you. I have to admit, I was surprised that you are a man of your word. But first, I got some questions about the curse stones you already have. What exactly do you want to know? Earlier, you said that Hihako collected 6 curse stones already. 6? I'd like to confirm which of the 7 mysteries they correspond to. And why do you need to know that? Because I don't trust, of course. If you really collected them like you say, you'd have no problems saying which curse stones they are, right? First, the Whispering Canal. Checks out. Good. And what else? Mayu Chozawa there has the Beckoning Light. Yep, you're the ones who made sure I got it. What? What? Unfortunately for you, I don't feel like handing it over. So I don't think it counts as one of yours. Good to know. Anyway, do continue. It's another question. Why give it to her? Feels like a bit of a broken curse I have. I give it to her. Next is the ever-burning lantern, which we gave to Hideki Araishi. So you consider that one of Hihaku's then? Whatever, we'll worry about that later. That's 3. What about all the others? Well, the others are... the foot washing mansion and the Evergreen Beach. Well, we know who owns those 2. What? Lastly, the Fool's Procession, if I recall. 0 word on Taiko. So you claim. How about it, mademoiselle? That's wrong. Those 3 are with Inspector Tsutsumi. I gave the Fool's Procession to him myself, so I know he's wrong. There you have it. Too bad for you, pal. If our agreement was founded on lies, then I have no duty to hand over my curse stone like I promised. Meaning, the only curse you have is the Whispering Canal. And it inevitably follows that you used it to kill that young man at Kinshibori Park. Hang on, dots are connecting. In this timeline, Yakko has it. Okay, so this could be another bluff. Because Yakko has it. Such a horrible act, and to your own employee, no less. No, there you are mistaken. To be entirely frank with you, we do not possess a single curse stone. There we go. What? We plan to collect soul dregs using any method available to us, of course, as we need it in the right. But committing murder ourselves was too much of a risk. We intended on having others collect the soul dregs for us. Sounds to me like everybody's playing chicken. That's so. Therefore, I myself have no soul dregs in my possession. It was our plan to arrange for particularly greedy individuals to receive the curses. What? It is possible Shogo Okie came to possess the Whispering Canal because of that. But by the time I became aware of this, he was already dead. I don't believe you. Are you really trying to talk your way out of this now? Or do you really want me to believe a Hihaku employee was cursed by complete coincidence? Yeah. That is the truth, whether you believe me or not. It must have been someone else entirely who took Shogo Okie's stone and killed him. I have no idea whatsoever in whose hands the Whispering Canal is in now, nor where it may be. Oh, could it really be? Then if it wasn't Hihaku who put the idea in Fumichika's head to get a curse stone either. Nejima. The only ones we've negotiated with are Iwai and Araishi. Interesting. Excuse me, but does that mean you don't know the location of the remaining curse stones either? There's one that hasn't been mentioned. What about the Taiko Tsugaru? Oh, good question, my mysterious mademoiselle. Can't get Richter Kai's voice, it's changed. Richter Kai P.I. Nope, not happening. Can't. And I'm afraid we have no information in that regard either. Have you heard enough about curse stones? I have nothing else to tell you. Can you? Nope. Keep grilling. Excuse me, Mr. Investigator? What is it, mademoiselle? Would you be willing to give up the curse stone you have? Ah, yes, you have a point. They're too dangerous to carelessly walk around in one's pocket. However, sorry to disappoint you, that's not possible at the moment. And why is that? Ah, you don't know, do you? Then I'll tell both you and your friend from Hihaka over here. I doubt any of you have attempted it yet. But it seems that curse stones cannot be given to normal people. Huh? What? I actually tested it with the madam here earlier. If you give the curse stone to someone else, the curse bearer doesn't change, and the stone eventually makes its way back to the bearer. It's almost obvious when you think about it, seeing as how strange the curse stones appear to the curse bearers of their own accord to begin with. But Inspector Tsutsumi has collected some stones from other curse bearers. Then Inspector Tsutsumi must be a curse bearer himself. Ah. So, from what you're saying, curse stones can only be transferred between curse bearers. And obtaining a curse alone doesn't make someone a curse bearer, so they can't use its curse? Exactly. So they aren't quite as dangerous as you think. Hold up. Replay that line. Inspector Tsutsumi must be a curse bearer himself. Collected curse stones from curse bearers. Give the curse stone to someone else. Curse bearer doesn't change, and the stone eventually makes its way back to the bearer. Add a little addendum about something being dead. Someone being dead, what happens then? This is probably the next best question to ask. Almost obvious when you think about it, seeing curse stones appear to be curse bearers of their own accord to begin with. So two things here. Two things. That starting scene with Yakko, who had... Now, period. Who had the curse stone? We're saying it's Shogo, but he found the curse stone off of Yakko. Which... Well, he found it on the ground by Yakko, so I guess it's not necessarily true. Yakko was drowned. So, wait. So regardless, that would mean Yakko's the curse bearer? Hang on. If you give it, the bear doesn't change and the stone eventually makes its way back to the bearer. That's what I'm picking up on. The second thing. Tsutsumi. He's collecting all these curse stones. He's collecting all these curse stones, but now that we have this information that you can't take it back, or you can't give it away, does he have a plan with all these curse stones? Whether that be, you know, malicious or benevolent. Is that the right word? Oh. As for Hihaku's intention of just collecting the curse stones for themselves, unfortunately for them, it was never going to work unless there was a curse bearer among them. That Araishi, how could he not know this? That must be why, since I couldn't take Yakko's curse stone. I've returned it right away when I borrowed it from her earlier. That's precisely how it works, my mysterious mademoiselle. I'll give mine directly to Inspector Tsutsumi later. If you know Inspector Tsutsumi, then I think that's best. Thank you. Okay, I think that's about all we have to ask him. We'll let you off for today since you went along with all our questions nicely. A pleasure working with you. We're done here. But the information you have... What are you whining about? I said we're done, so scram! That's all our business as well, so I should be bidding you all farewell. Yes, right. Excuse me, Mr. Investigator. Please don't forget about that curse stone. Don't you fret. I'll hand it over to Inspector Tsutsumi like I promised. I'm glad I didn't end up having to give it to that Yumioka. Let's take our leave, madam. With this, we'll be freed from this troublesome curse ourselves. That lady and the investigator. We should keep an eye on them. Agreed. Really? Why? I think they're up to something. Just my intuition, but still. Yeah, I wonder if what that investigator really wants out of all of this. If his goal is getting information about the curse stones, then this might be bad. It's alright, I got one of those curse stones too, the beckoning light. Oh, right, if you wouldn't mind, would you give it to Inspector Tsutsumi without using it? Yeah, sure, if you'll introduce me to the cop, that is. I feel like if I keep carrying it around with me, I'll start getting some weird ideas too. I just remembered. Mayu, I have something important to tell you. Whoa, what's with all the yelling all of a sudden? You know a girl named Hitomi Okuda, don't you? Really? Hitomi is Hajime's talisman? Yes, he entrusted it to her in a panic just before his death. He sensed an imminent crisis closing in on him, but Hitomi was the only one around that he could ask for help. That's so? I'm afraid she hasn't got left with such a... I'm sorry she got left with such a big responsibility. That must mean Hajime got killed by someone who was after that talisman. But since he gave it to someone else, they couldn't steal it like they wanted. I'll have to thank Hitomi for that. I also think it's going to be hard for us to get her to give up that talisman. Yeah, you may be right. It was Hajime's dying request to her. So, you two need the talisman for something? Yeah. Personally, I'd like to use the talisman as bait. Then I could get my hands on the one that killed Hajime. Please? I promise we'll uncover the mastermind behind all this. They probably have supernatural abilities at their disposal. Please leave them to us. Yeah, we'll catch him, don't you worry. Well, look at that. You got that look in your eyes. The look of young people that look that young people get that says they'll get something no matter what it takes. Parsing. How am I supposed to say no to that? You go find them and give them what they deserve for what they did to my Hajime, you hear? We will. I'm pretty mad at them myself. If punches work on him, I'll give him a good one. Now that I could get behind. I'll leave it to you two. Now then, your next move should be to find Hitomi and get that talisman. Though there isn't one other talisman that you need. Right, but we've got a pretty good idea of where the one Michio had is. We'll have to check with Inspector Tsutsumi about that. We should go back to the school and call him. You got it. Okay, I'll head to the high school now and wait for you there. Perfect.